The wind carried dust across the endless plains as the sun began to rise over the rugged hills. Bound to a wooden post, his wrists scraped raw from the rope, the cowboy stood silent. He was the prisoner of those whose patience with outsiders had long since run out. All around him, the Apache people gathered. Their breath moved with the wind, steady and watchful. Ethan could feel every gaze pressing on him like a weight. He had come here seeking peace, to trade and pass through, but a mistake. A gunshot in the night had cost a young brave his life. Now, justice was to be spoken in the old ways. The chief, tall and weathered, stepped forward. His gray hair flowed like smoke in the morning breeze. He raised a hand, and silence swept across the gathering. "You have taken life," he said, his voice deep as thunder. "You claim it was accident, but the blood of my son still cries from the earth." Ethan bowed his head, jaw tight. "I didn't mean for it to happen," he said. "I tried to stop it. I swear it." His words hung in the air, fragile against the weight of sorrow. From the edge of the circle, a young woman stepped forward. The chief's daughter, Aiyana, known for her calm spirit and sharp eyes, looked at the prisoner without hate. Her gaze seemed to pierce beyond his guilt, searching for something hidden beneath the dust and blood. "Father," she said softly, "let him speak." The chief turned, surprised. No one spoke during judgment but him. Yet something in her voice carried strength, something that made even the wind pause. Ethan lifted his eyes to her, dark, steady, and unafraid. For the first time in days, he saw not enemies before him, but people grieving, yes, but human all the same. He wanted to tell her everything, about the ambush, about the fear, about how the world had turned cruel on both sides of the border. But words failed him. The elder beside the chief spoke sharply. "He has spoken enough. The spirits demand balance." The crowd murmured in agreement. Ethan's heart pounded. He could feel the noose of fate tightening, each breath heavier than the last. Then Aiyana's voice rose again, clear, calm, unyielding. "If he dies," she said, "what do we learn? Only how to bury more sons." The crowd fell silent once more. Even the chief did not answer. And in that moment, under the burning desert sun, something shifted in the air, like the first stir of a storm that no one yet understood. The silence that followed Aiyana's words hung heavy over the desert. Even the wind seemed to stop its restless wandering. Ethan lifted his head, unsure if he had truly heard her right. Her face was calm, but her eyes burned with quiet defiance, the kind that came not from rebellion, but from conviction. The elder broke the stillness first. "The girl's heart is soft," he said. The chief said nothing. His weathered hands gripped his walking staff tighter. The duty of a leader. For years, he had taught his people that peace was fragile, that justice must be stronger than emotion. Yet now his daughter's words echoed through him, like a prayer he didn't want to understand. Ethan's throat was dry, his heart pounding. "If my death will bring peace," he said hoarsely, "then I won't fight it. But if there's still a chance to make right what's been wronged, let me try." Aiyana stepped forward again, her shadow crossing his. The tribe watched her closely, the chief's daughter, unafraid to stand between life and death. "He offers his life," she said softly. "But what good is death when the world already bleeds enough?" The chief turned to her. "You speak with fire," he said. "Yet fire burns what it touches." "Then let it burn through lies," she replied, her voice rising, "not through another man's life." Murmurs spread among the tribe. Some nodded, others frowned. The air crackled with tension. Ethan could feel the weight of every eye, every unspoken judgment pressing against his soul. The chief lifted his hand again, and silence returned. He stepped closer to Ethan, his face inches away. "You killed my son," he said, "and still, my daughter pleads for you. Why?" Ethan's voice shook. "Because she sees what I lost, same as you. I didn't come here to fight. I came here to survive." The chief studied him for a long moment. The man's fear was real, but beneath it burned something else, remorse, maybe even honor. Then the chief turned to his people. "Tomorrow, at sunrise, the spirits will decide. Tonight, he will live." The crowd began to disperse, whispering into the dusk. Some glared at Ethan with hatred. Others simply looked tired, as though the desert had taken all their strength long ago. And when she finally spoke, her voice was low but certain. "Your truth comes with dawn," she said. Ethan didn't yet know what those words meant, but in the calm of that dying light, he felt something stir within him, something he hadn't felt in years. Hope. Ethan lay awake inside the small hut, his wrists still raw. "Your truth comes with dawn." He didn't know what truth she meant. He only knew that by sunrise, his fate would be sealed. Outside, the Apache village slept lightly. Fires burned low, flickering shadows across the earth. Warriors stood guard, their spears glinting beneath the pale moonlight. Above them, the stars stretched endless and cold, witnesses to the fragile balance between revenge and redemption. As the first light of morning touched the horizon, the sound of drums began to echo through the valley, until it felt like the earth itself was calling Ethan to his final hour. 2 warriors entered the hut. They didn't speak. They simply gestured for him to rise. Ethan stood, his body aching, his heart heavy but calm. He walked out barefoot, the sand cool beneath his feet. The entire tribe had gathered again, forming a great circle. The chief raised his staff. "Ethan Cole," he said, his deep voice carrying across the plain. "Before the spirits, before this land, and before my people, you will speak your last truth. Then judgment will fall." Ethan took a deep breath. "I came here with nothing but a horse and hope," he began. "I didn't come to fight. I was wrong. It was your son." A low murmur swept through the crowd. The chief's eyes darkened, but he remained silent. Ethan's voice cracked. "I've lived with death before, but never one I didn't deserve. I can't undo what I did. But if my hands can build, if my work can serve your people, then let that be my punishment. Don't let his death be followed by another." He fell silent, the desert wind carrying his words away. Then came Aiyana's voice, clear as the first song of morning. "Father," she said, stepping forward, "the spirits hear when hearts speak truth. If we answer blood with blood, we teach nothing but sorrow." The elder shook his head. "Words cannot erase death." Aiyana turned toward him, her eyes burning. "No," she said, "but they can begin life again." The chief stared at her, at the strength in her voice, at the same fire that once burned in his lost son. Around them, the tribe waited, breathless. The drums slowed, and the sun rose, washing everything in gold. And in that fragile, glowing moment, the 4 words that would change everything were about to be spoken. The drums stopped. The sun rose higher, spilling gold across the valley. The tribe stood motionless, caught between the pull of vengeance and the whisper of mercy. Even the desert air felt heavier, as though the spirits themselves waited for what would come next. Ethan stood tall, though his knees trembled. The rope around his wrists itched against sunburned skin, but his eyes stayed fixed on the chief, waiting for the final word that would decide his fate. The chief's gaze was hard, his face unreadable. "The spirits demand balance," he said, his voice like gravel. "My son's blood darkens the soil. What shall wash it clean?" The elder beside him nodded grimly. "Only more blood can satisfy the ancestors." Then, slowly, Aiyana stepped forward. Her footsteps were soft but certain. Every eye turned to her, every whisper fell silent. She looked at her father, not with rebellion, but with love. "Father," she said quietly, "you once told me that the earth remembers every step we take upon it, that our hearts leave marks the rain cannot erase." The chief said nothing, but his eyes softened. Aiyana turned to the tribe, her voice clear now. "If we kill him, what do we teach our children? That pain must always be repaid with pain? That the dead must never sleep? Let forgiveness be justice." Even the winds seemed to bow before the power of those words. The elder shook his head. "You cannot." But the chief raised his hand. "Enough." His voice was low, trembling, not with weakness, but with the weight of revelation. He turned to Ethan. "You will live, not as a free man, but as a builder of what was broken. You will stay here, among us, until your hands repay the life they took." Ethan dropped to his knees, overwhelmed. "I'll do it," he whispered. "I swear." The chief looked to his daughter, his pride, his wisdom. "Let forgiveness be justice," he repeated softly, as if testing the words in his heart. And so, that morning, in the valley where vengeance had once ruled, mercy took its place. Ethan worked beside the tribe for years to come, building homes, repairing fences, sharing the burdens of the people who had once wanted him dead. In time,